What's up, guys? Shea Bell, BB Sports here. We got Chad Bell in the studio. New York Yankees, Louisiana Monroe, went to Rocky Mountain here in Fort Collins, and so we're just gonna talk here about Chad's journey, and I'll have him introduce himself to you guys here, and we're just gonna roll with it, hit some golf balls, and kind of talk about life and baseball and mental side and his progression through it all as we go. So I'll let Chad kind of introduce himself here.
Yeah, like you said, I'm his little brother, youngest of four boys. He didn't mention one of the schools, Western Nevada, junior college guy.
Can't forget that, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Junior college is a huge thing for baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too many people overlook it, man.
Let's just jump right into that too, because that's a huge topic, right? It's I think the mentality of D1 and bust, right? And how important is that now with the transfer portal too, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
They're not recruiting out of high school anymore, the D1s. They're grabbing like 5 guys. That's it. Yep. And then they're going to, transfer portal, and they're trying to find some guy from either another D1 or a D2 or a JUCO, and that's the route they're taking, right?
Yeah, so. And even with that, the competition level between, high school and just say like Colorado, you're going to have those one or two guys in the state, that are maybe mid-90s. But, you go to a good junior college in Texas, the southern states, there's no wonder that coaches are starting to recruit out of there. I know my coach at ULM loves his junior college guys because they come in and a lot of people don't realize, there's not many rules with junior colleges. There's no practice limitations. There's no, hey, you can't do this between here and here. Most junior college programs prepare you for the D1 level. And
a lot of those D1s, they talk to those junior college coaches. They're like, hey, I got this guy, this freshman that came in. He's not really panning out.
Yep.
You guys need a guy? Let's develop him. Let's get him a second pitch or get him 2 to 3 miles per hour or whatever it is,
Yeah.
And then they're like, once he's done doing that, we'll probably take him back.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was trying to decide what to do out of high school, I kind of had a not your typical path to success. I was a little bit of a late bloomer, and I was trying to decide whether to go junior college or maybe D2, and I was talking to a guy that runs a local scout team here, or did run a local scout team here, and his advice was you take 2 equal players. One goes JUCO, one sits his first 2 years at a Division I. That JUCO player is now much better than him because he shows up on campus, a much better chance to play as a freshman, and you have the ability to grow and work on your game. Whereas you go D1, it's easy for him to move on from you. It's easy to get buried when you move into a 4-year and you got seniors and juniors above you, and then a lot of people don't realize what that can do to your mental state as well. You show up and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not going to play, and then your focus changes.
Yeah, you're a bench guy at that point, unless you're an absolute stud.
Yep.
Right? So the guys they grab out of high school, they want ready to go right away anymore. Those 5 guys, they're going to be dudes.
Yeah,
right?
No, absolutely.
So, yeah, I think that's huge. And you also look at, how many guys got drafted last year out of that area, right, too.
Yeah.
There are way more D1 or way more draft picks coming out of JUCOs than there were coming out of D2s, NAIs, and D3s combined. Right?
Yeah, there is. And a lot of people don't realize that is it can really click in one off season or 1 month. You can feel one thing in your swing, and your game will completely change. Yep. And if your goal is to play professional baseball, you go JUCO, that clicks. You go have a great freshman year. You go back for your sophomore year, have another great year. A guy I played with, DJ Peters, one of the best players I've ever played with, decided to go to JUCO instead of Cal State Fullerton, and got drafted at senior year of high school. Didn't do it. Went JUCO, got drafted there his freshman year. Late, said no, that's not good enough for me. Came back, absolutely tore it up. Was a 4th-round draft pick. Made it to the big leagues with the Dodgers. Played professionally in Korea, and now he's back in the States. And it's it really sucks that JUCO gets that rep of oh, I'm not going junior college. But
I think a lot of universities, unless you're a D1, get that rep. And that mentality. It's
you got to play.
Yeah.
You can't you're not going to get better. You're not going to get better sitting the bench and only getting reps in practice. You got to get live reps.
And they're not caring about you as much too. Like if you're not a dude, they'll probably get rid of you next year, right? They're not going to spend a lot of time on you.
Yep.
D1s want you ready to play right away.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
All right, you want to take a few swings here?
Yeah, I'll rip a couple.
So. Yeah, so then you went into Louisiana Monroe, right? And talk about kind of after Western Nevada, you went into Louisiana Monroe, and kind of talk me through the process of that. You got Western Nevada dropped a program, right? And now you're like,
crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, not even showed up on campus. Coach Whittemore, one of the great coaches I've ever had. To this day, it was some of the funnest times I had. He called me and said, hey, their president just called me and said we don't have any more funding for the sports programs, and goes, yeah, so you can either honor your commitment or you can decide to transfer somewhere else. I said, no, I'm still going. And, it turned out to be the best decision of my life because, I got to meet a lot of really good guys, played with some very good players that pushed me beyond my limits, and got some experiences that, I never would have thought I had. So definitely thankful for that. I only got 1 year there, unfortunately. Had a really good year. Went up, played some summer ball in Oregon, and then that's where Louisiana Monroe found me and said, hey, come out for a visit. I went out. Kind of liked the South. I've never been down there before, and ended up taking the offer and going down there for my last 3 years of ball.
what are you hitting, by the way?
Forehand.
Oh, I was hitting pitching wedge, and then you had to send it freaking way over. Jeez.
Sorry, dude.
So, but yeah, so I mean that's sweet. Going down to the South, and I visited you down there, right, quite a bit. Definitely a different culture, right?
Yeah.
Definitely different than Colorado and Nevada too, for that matter of fact. So like, what was going into there and kind of adjusting to that? What was kind of like the adjustment period? Because you had one coach your sophomore year, and then you had a different coach your junior and senior year. So kind of.
I had three head coaches through 4 years of college baseball, which, it was adjustment for sure. It's tough not being able to get in your groove, but you kind of get used to it. And I think it also helped me become a better player because, you do have to learn, you gotta, doesn't matter what you do 1 year, a new coach can come in, brings his guys in, and you still gotta compete with his guys. And obviously with Coach Federico coming in my junior year to ULM, he brought I think we had 28 new guys or something like that, and they're going to get every chance in the world because of the season we had my sophomore year. So you gotta come in ready to go and with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that sophomore season and kind of going down there. I think I watched you at Alabama, right? So I went down to Alabama and saw you guys there. And I think so sophomore year you had 4 home runs or whatever it was, and then junior year you had 9 home runs, and then going into your senior year you had 21 home runs. And for me, one of the big things that I saw externally was I saw kind of the confidence changer. And I remember having a little bit of a conversation with you at Alabama, and I saw kind of just little almost like nerves playing in that, right? It's kind of your first time in front of a SEC kind of competition, blah blah blah, and it kind of the youngin in you a little bit. And I remember telling you, hey, just be confident. Like you're there for a reason, right? Yeah. You're there. Okay? So kind of talk me through that. How was your progression, not only mentally but also physically too?
Yeah, I mean, if you're from Colorado, you know what I'm talking about, and obviously we all grew up here, born and raised, and there's not those big stadiums, and then going junior college, you still playing on these like small fields, and so yeah, it was a little bit of a culture shock going down to the South and just seeing how big sports are down there. Like they built, I don't even know, it was when we played Alabama. That was one of the first. I think that was the first year their brand new stadium opened up, and it was like, oh man. Millions and millions went into that, and it was one of the coolest places I ever played. And it's easy to get into that, where you see the lights and you see all these cool features of the stadium, and you can get sidetracked a little bit. So there was an adjustment period, and there was a lot of phone calls home to you and our other brothers and our parents, and just trying to figure out what's going on. And at the end of the day, you got to realize that it's still just playing the game, and it's the same old game you grew up playing. And most of the times when people struggle, it's just because they're speeding the game up.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to realize that, but I think that was one of the biggest factors into the switch that was flipped and my success that kind of came after my first couple of years of college.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, that's one of my biggest things, seeing it from the outside looking in, was the confidence when you're on the field. Going from sophomore to junior to senior, it happens with every young player, right? It takes a little time to get that confidence and that swagger and that belief that you belong there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I think that's huge. Let me whack a couple here.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it over.
But yeah, so and then going in between sophomore, junior, senior year, I think it was your junior year when Fed came in and he kind of took over. He's like, hey, I don't want you playing summer ball.
Yeah.
Right? And so talk me through that, and we've had this conversation, right? We've kind of talked about what his thought process was behind that.
Yeah, so
tell me.
End of the year, we were trying to figure out what I wanted to do for summer ball. And I was coming off, I think I started every game that year. Was fortunate enough to stay pretty healthy throughout my career. And I got a lot of at-bats, and he just thought it would be a good idea to, take the summer off, get in the weight room, put on some size. I was never a huge weight room guy. And that was probably something that held me back, because that junior year, I went from 9 home runs that year to 21 my senior year. And I mean, that whole summer, I still hit and worked on my swing and fixed some mechanic issues there. But at the end of the day, I got in the weight room and tried to lift as heavy as I could, as much as I could. And I put on quite a bit of weight. I showed up. We didn't do body fat tests or anything like that, but I showed up and just kind of felt stronger and faster and more stable when I was hitting. So I still to this day tell people that I think taking that summer off and focusing on the weight room and really trying some things out with my swing is really the reason I had such a big change going into my senior year and kind of put my name on the map a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about the mental side that I saw, and the physical side, it was just apparent, right? You put on whatever it was, 10, 15, 20 pounds. And it changes the game, right? When you walk into that, or step in that box, and the bat just feels light.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
And it's a long season, too.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize you're practicing, Monday through Thursday. You'll probably have one off day in there, depending on when it is, and a lot of times that off day could be you traveling to go to your away series.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you got school, and you got to make sure you're getting all your homework done, and while also enjoying the college experience, like trying to going to basketball games and football games, and making memories and building the relationships with your teammates, because I mean that's a big part too. Like now that I'm done playing, like obviously I still miss the game, but the thing I miss most is just the guys and the fun stories that I'll have for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. Right.
So
those memories are great. They're burned into your brain.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
The nights and the good times with the boys. That's some of the funnest parts of it, right?
Yeah.
Playing the game's awesome. Like that, you can't take that away either. But if you just play the game and you're not having fun anywhere else, then it's not really worth it, right?
Yep.
So.
And it's easy to put a lot of pressure on yourself when you do have big goals, and you should have big goals. But I see a lot of young kids still to this day. I mean, we got guys coming in here for lessons, and they're freshmen and sophomores in high school, and they're worried that they're not getting college looks. And it's like you got to take it one step at a time and just trust the process that you're going to get there, because there's a path for everyone. You want to play in college, you can go play in college, literally anywhere. NAIA, D3, D2, D1, JUCO. Like, you want to play, there's going to be a spot for you. You just gotta work your butt off.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, like you said, starts in the gym. Right?
Yeah,
I think that's one big thing that a lot of people forget about. But and the skills aspect too. It's like you were saying, we were hitting every single day during the summer when we were doing some of that stuff, and it was one of those things that you gotta put in the time and the work to get there.
Absolutely.
So
what are you hitting right there?
What's that?
What are you hitting right there?
5-iron. Okay. I'm just longer than you.
My 5-iron, the head's about to come off, Shay.
Yeah.
I can't be breaking your new simulator.
You were just hitting 4-iron, and I'm now same distance. So, we were just talking about the gym, Chad.
Yeah,
you better
I gotta get back in there.
You better hit it.
I'm not in there nearly as much now that I'm done.
Well, you want to play a couple holes here, some par threes or something?
Yeah, let's play a couple par threes.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so then, like, you get done with ULM, and talk me through kind of draft night.
Yeah, draft process was a little frustrating. You get, there's 3 days of draft, obviously. First day, I knew I wasn't going on the first day because that's just the first and second round. So, I was hoping for day 2. Day 2 came around, and, we had the family at the house. Hoping and got a few calls saying, hey, like, be ready. We might take you today. So I'm sitting there. Wow, there it is.
There it is.
Sitting there, and I had like 3-4 teams call me, say, hey, we think we might take you today as a senior. For those of you that don't know, seniors can easily go on the second day just to save some money for major league teams, a little less leverage there to say, because you basically are going to go get a real job or, continue to play a game that you grew up playing. And so day 2 rolled around. We were towards the end, and then unfortunately never got picked. So then day 3 came around, sitting there. I think it was like 5 or 6 rounds went by, and I was just still not hearing much. So I got a little frustrated, and I kind of turned it off, to be honest. Kind of went and threw something else on the TV. Obviously kept my phone there and stayed on alert. And got a call from the Tigers saying, hey, we're going to take you with our next pick. So I was thinking, I'm going to be, a Detroit Tiger. And then all of a sudden when I logged on to, be ready for that, as soon as I hit refresh, my name popped up, and it was not the Tigers, it was the Yankees.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of the most storied franchises in all of sports. Like you think of the Dodgers and the Lakers and the Yankees and all these other just crazy good teams that are that you could not everybody gets to say they played for. So I was definitely very excited. I think I got maybe 2 more days at home, and then I was on my way just to the spring training site to do all my tests and get ready for my first season with the Yankees.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, Shay.
We might need a re-hit.
No chance. You gotta know your misses, Shay.
Yeah.
You gotta know your misses. That's just a
Cart
nice
path.
That's just a nice little chip. So yeah, then I went down to Tampa. Spent maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks. And 2 weeks there, I don't have a pitching wedge, Shane.
Nice.
You're gonna have
to make do.
Use a little 8-iron.
Make do.
So went down there, and then they sent me to Pulaski and had a pretty good first year there. Learned a lot. And then, where's the distance? Oh, 48 yards?
Yep. Got a sand trap in front of you. Oh, man.
This is going to be bad.
Yeah, the non-pitching wedge is going to kill you here.
Rightfully so. You got to bring your clubs.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then that kind of started off my Yankees playing days, and had a great first season. Then went to Instructs, and then kind of COVID hit, and a lot of bad came from COVID, for everybody. But I kind of took advantage of it as a time where I can just really try whatever I want and get back in the gym. And I showed back up heavier and stronger. Ready to go once they finally did let us play again.
Sit. Be a gimme.
I don't
It's
think
not.
so.
It's not. You're going to have to putt with your 8-iron.
Ooh. 16 feet. What's the gimme?
I think 15.
15?
Yeah. There it is.
That might have been better than an actual putter.
Yeah.
Was yours a gimme?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's your box.
COVID, and I remember COVID year. I thought that was, it was a good year. We had a lot of people in the facility, and there was a lot of progression going on, right? So I think that was something that I saw your game go uphill because of it. It was just how much you were training,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All the time in the world. What do we got here? 177. All the time in the world to do everything.
Yeah, and with with the off season, yeah, you get 3-4 months, but you gotta show up ready to play. You gotta be game ready when you show up to spring training, because the competition. I mean, everyone there can play the game. So if you show up and you didn't work your butt off, or you were trying a new swing adjustment and it wasn't quite ready before you left, and you weren't confident in it, it could really hurt you in spring training. So, with COVID, we kind of all figured it was going to be a while before we would play again. Uh-oh.
Just trying something new there.
Uh-oh. We all knew it was going to be a while, but I looked at it as, okay, I've been wanting to try to do this, and this, and improve my game a little bit. And it turned out to be very beneficial for me, because I came back in first full season, spent about a month down in Low A, played pretty well, then got a call, hey, you're going up to Hudson Valley, went up there, continued to hit pretty well there, and being an older guy, you kind of have an elevated track to the big leagues. I don't have a great club. Or not to the big leagues, but if you play well, you're going to move quicker, right? Because the lower levels are definitely for the younger guys looking to develop more and learn more about their game and mature. Whereas I was 24 at that time, I believe, that I was able to go from Low A to High A and then finish the year in Double A. Kind of elevated, or got there relatively quickly. It's a great shot, but just way too. Oh, look at that tasty shot.
Look at that.
Woo.
I'm gonna have to be silky with my short game here, I guess.
But yeah, I mean, it's really cool. You know, I was very fortunate to make it as high as I did because you really get to start to see some cool ballparks and really feel like a professional. You know, obviously the lower levels you still get the kids asking for autographs, but you're playing in a lot of empty stadiums. And then once you get to, you know, the higher up, the competition really gets competitive, and you really start to see some of the bright future of that you're going to see on TV for the rest of your life, and whether that's on your team or guys against. And you know, that's kind of one of the things I always tried to, when things weren't going well, I tried to, you know, take a step back and realize that, you know, I think what is the statistic, like 1%, less than 1% get to play at that level.
Yep.
So you gotta be grateful for the life you were given, and you know, all the work you put in, that you do gotta enjoy it, and that's what I try to tell kids. But you got to make it out a couple times. You know, you tried to make it out once or twice a year, which was always fun, and you know, you saw how my game developed, so you were able to, good shot. You were able to, you know, see some things that not necessarily everyone could see, and you know, whether that was just an attitude or, you know, not having confidence. So you know, it was pretty sweet. What was the coolest place you came to watch?
Oh, I would say probably, I mean, because I made it out, 3 times?
Yeah,
I
think
so.
yeah.
I think so. Probably the Omaha one.
Yeah, Omaha was.
I think they had a really nice stadium there.
Omaha was fun. That was a good trip. Is it me? Ooh.
I'm gonna take it so I don't have to switch.
Yeah, that's fine. That works with me. Isn't that crazy, guys? You know, I get honors and he still takes it from me.
Yeah. You know, you're the little brother. It's my world, dude. Just living in it. Alright, what do we got here? I'm going to focus up a little bit. I've had some bad shots here. Let's get into golf mode. Yeah, I think, you know, going out to that place was, like you said, the AAA one that I went to when you were playing there was versus the one you were playing. I think it was single A when you were there. When I saw you in
North Carolina.
Yeah,
no, that was advanced rookie.
Yeah.
That was that
was
the old World War II dungeons. The tunnels to the field at that place were creepy.
Yeah.
You know, small tunnel, you're just walking out, and man, that year was crazy.
What's up, guys? Unfortunately, our 2 terabyte hard drive got full, so you imagine how much video that is. But we'll do a part 2 with Chad Bell here shortly, so stay tuned for more.